Hi folks, and welcome to something slightly different. I'm starting something new here. This is going to be a set of things, so not one little series, we'll do a few hopefully, of retro-esque games. Playing some older games that have meaning to me in some way, hopefully completing them, etc, etc. And we're going to start today with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the first SW KOTOR game, and going on from there. So this is more than 20 years old, I think, at this point, or maybe approximately 20 years old, I don't know. And it is one of the finest Star Wars games to be made. It is an RPG, an old style RPG, which relies on the Dungeons and Dragons system for combat. So yeah, we're gonna play through this game. A couple of little housekeeping bits at the start. I have had to put on a couple of modifications to the game to make it run at this resolution. So I'm running it at 1440p. I've got the community patch on, the KOTOR community patch as well, both of which are fairly easy to set up. I've got a half dozen mods in just to make it look nice. We can talk about this at another time because I followed somebody else's guide. The other thing is I'm going to try, and I'd like for you guys as well, hopefully, to try and stay spoiler free. I have played this game before, of course. I've played it many times. I've not played it for quite some time, a few years, so there's a lot of the sort of intricacies of each quest that I might have forgotten, and actually that's a good thing. So some elements of this will be reminiscent of me playing it for the first time, some elements will not. Okay, after that's all said and done, let's start to create a character. So I'm going to go for a fairly canonical build. No, I'm not. Basically, I'm going to go for what the way the game was sort of meant to be played. So I'm going to go as a soldier here. Let's go for a custom character. Let's select a portrait. Don't know which one to go for. This is the level of customization you're given. This is a pretty classic KOTOR look, so we'll go for that one. Attributes. Now I'm going to try and run a sort of strength focused build. So if you're here looking for lots and lots of horsepowers, that's not the build I'm going to go for, I don't think. So we're going to put as much into strength as we can, which will really increase our proficiency with whatchamacallit, swords. We'll go for some constitution, some intelligence, maybe we won't go for charisma, dexterity maybe. Actually, you know what, we'll load up a little on constitution. I don't need to worry about wisdom so much. Maybe we'll put... Oh, is that it? You know what? That'll do then. That'll do. I'll press OK. So skills. You've got things here called a class skill and a cross-class skill. You've got 4 points to spend. A cross-class skill will take 2 of those points to get 1 point up. A class skill will not. So, for example, computer use is not good for me. But most of this is not good for me. So we'll go for 2 on treat injury maybe. No, maybe we won't go for that. You know what? Let's just go max into treat injury. We're going to need to have some good med pack usage. So I'm going to add flurry straight away because I think it's one of the best feats for swords, and that's it. That's all I can do. I'll press OK. The name. Let's just go through a few random ones here. Milton Cherry, Rando Coral, Candace, Talalanis, Jack Chan, Dan Carl, Dando Cora. So you need something sort of Star Warsy. It's a bit weird. Trantora. I quite like that, but we're not going for it. Pitch Star. Lanid Jast. You know what? Lanid, you're up. Mr. Jast. I will say I'm going to skip through the opening crawl. You can search for it on YouTube because it has the Star Wars music and I don't want to be told off. So I'm going to press play. And I'm going to have to very quickly press escape here. And here we go.
We've been ambushed by a Sith battle fleet. The Endar Spire is under attack. Hurry up, we don't have much time.
Okay.
I'm Trask Ulgo, ensign with the Republic fleet. I'm your bunkmate here on the Endar Spire. We work opposite shifts. I guess that's why you haven't seen me before. Now hurry up. We have to find Bastila. We have to make sure she makes it off the ship alive. Bastila is the commanding officer on the Endar Spire. Well, not an officer, really. But she's the one in charge of this mission. One of our primary duties is to guarantee her survival in the event of an enemy attack. You swore an oath just like everyone else on this mission. Now it's time to make good on that oath. I've heard all about your reputation. Elite combat training, tops in your class. It's no wonder you were handpicked for this mission. Word is the officers haven't seen a recruit with your kind of potential in 20 years. But all that potential doesn't mean a thing if you can't deliver when it counts. We're soldiers. We're trained for combat. Bastila is going to need men and women like us at her side during this attack.
Okay.
So hurry up and grab your gear.
There's some
you need to suit up so we can get out of here.
exposition. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of things. So the journal's up here, and this provides information about quests. We've got our equipment set up here, inventory. This is our character, shows our things, shows how light side or dark side we are. Skills. This is a dialogue thing, and some map. Okay, so this is just a little sort of tutorial bit. I'm going to go over to the footlocker, and we're going to pick up some things. So I'm going to put on some clothing, so we're not in our ugly underwear. We are going to have a short sword, I think, and there's nothing else we can equip. We could use a blaster rifle. Cool, so that's what we look like now. We have a short sword in our hand, and we can talk to Trask again.
Okay, let's move out. We should stick together. You'll have more success with a party than on your own.
Okay, so Trask has joined our party. So these are all of the party members. Okay, so here is Trask. He's a level 3 soldier. Press OK.
Because of the attack, this room is in lockdown. But don't worry, I've got the override codes. You'll have to use me to unlock the door.
Okay, so he can go into a bit more exposition here, but now we can play as Trask. Okay, we could equip him or unequip him with various things. So we could, for example, take off his clothes and he looks the same. But the point of this is that you need him to unlock this door. Okay?
Now that the door is open, you better take the lead.
So now we can get going. So it's a bit of a
This is
tutorial.
Consul Nasty. The Sith are threatening to overrun our position. We can't hold out long against their firepower. All hands to the bridge.
That was Karth contacting us on our portable communicators. He's one of the Republic's best pilots. He's seen more combat than the rest of the Endar Spire's crew put together. If he says things are bad, you better believe it. We have to get to the bridge to help defend Bastila. There's a map of the Endar Spire and a copy of Karth's message in your electronic journal, just in case we get separated.
Okay, so I'm not going to spend time listening to him explain things to me. Attacking the Endar Spire gives you the information you need here. So let's get going.
That door's locked. I don't have the codes to open it. But switch me to the party leaders.
Okay. So again, he's just demonstrating here that we need to press this button to use security on the door. All pretty standard stuff. Pretty exciting firefight.
These Sith must be the advanced boarding party for the Republic.
Okay, so when we're doing combat, it's turn-based. So you can see right now the game is paused, and I can choose various different attacks. So I'm going to load up some flurries, okay, which I will walk over there and apply. So I'll press spacebar, and I will attack him, and go for another flurry. Okay, now there might be some remains, which is where we can loot our enemies. Okay, and we're going from here. So let's get in there. Let's start to put those guys down. Let's get another flurry on the go. Because we have such a high strength, I think that will be really useful for us at the moment. So I might actually equip a long sword instead. So or we could have two short swords. So we could have a short sword here and a short sword here. And this -5+1 is the modifier given to the imaginary dice roll. So this guy here's got a +5, which means we're more likely to hit and more likely to do criticals. I think that's how that works. If you've played Dungeons and Dragons, this might make sense. If you haven't, then that might not make sense. So good, we've got a med pack. I will always tell you to, in this game, use med packs from the inventory, because this can be used alongside a turn. So if I was in combat right now and I used that gets me back up to full health. It wouldn't stop me from attacking. Okay. So we've got another firefight going on here. So a couple of these guys go down. They throw a grenade, and they got their own man as well as the enemies. So we're going to go around the corner, and because we're entering combat, it pauses us. Now I'm going to throw a grenade and show you how this works into the center there, and you can see, look, it's got all three. So there's another guy coming around the corner. I'm going to use a couple of flurries here. So what might happen is like that, where they will swap to a sword when you get close to them. So let's just check out the remains. We always want to be looting. Okay, so let's carry on getting all that stuff. This is just like the tutorial area, right? So the difficulty here will be low, and it's just trying to showcase some of the game's mechanics.
It's a Dark Jedi! This fight is too much for us! We better stay back! All we do is get in the way! That was one of the Jedi accompanying Bastila.
So, in this era, there are it's fairly common to have Jedi and Dark Jedi knocking about. Whereas if you're thinking about the original trilogy of Star Wars, there are no Jedi knocking about. So let's loot these guys. So no lightsaber from her, but we do get an adrenal and a vibration cell. So adrenals are like little stimulants that will buff your stats for a short amount of time. Let's clear out this area. Okay, and we can level up.
Bastila's not here on the bridge. They must have retreated to the escape pods. We better head that way too. The Sith want Bastila alive, but once she's off the ship, there's nothing stopping them from blasting the Endar Spire into galactic dust.
So, just a couple of little bits here. Because there's a level cap of 20, some people will save levels for later when you have other things that you can do while leveling up once you've unlocked certain bits of the game. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I won't be doing that. I'm going to be playing the game pretty much as intended. Oh, in fact, it's literally telling me here that I've got to level up. So I'm going to be carry on leveling up as the game would have sort of intended. So skills, I've got 1 point I can use. So I'm going to use it on treat injury. Okay, press OK. Feats, I'd love to at some point get this. So I need to be at level 4 look to get advanced flurry. What can I do instead? Well, there's plenty of things I can do. I'm going to give myself I might give myself a bonus here for melee weapons, or I could go for two-hand fighting. Okay, if I do that, I press OK. So I want to do this at some point, and I go for a short sword here. Then this now has a 0, and this has got a +2. So actually, this guy's okay as a secondary. I'm actually going to upgrade and have a combat suit on. This provides me with a bit of armor. Okay, the Trask's running off.
Damn, another Dark Jedi! I'll try to hold him off. You get to the escape pods. Go!
A really quite moving moment here, where Trask goes off to fight a Dark Jedi to allow our escape. This isn't a spoiler, but that is the last we see of Trask, quite sadly really. I'd quite like to spend a bit more time with him, but we've got to move on.
This is Cartho Nassian, your personal communicator. I'm tracking your position through the Endar Spire's life support systems. Bastila's escape pod is away. You're the last surviving crew member on the Endar Spire. Now, I can't wait for you much longer. You have to get to the escape pods.
So Carter's waiting for us to escape pods. If we go to a map, look, you can see it's over there. It's not a big section, this, so it shouldn't take long. In fact, the map, I think, is one of the things that is not upscaled properly. There's not a lot what I can do about that. So now you can see we're going to be fighting our 2 weapons. So let's see how this goes. So we missed, but we are getting extra rolls now when we're attacking. So it's one of those, right, where our likelihood to hit is lower, but we are rolling the dice more often. So let's take these guys on. So the pauses in combat after the roll, for the turns, right?
Be careful. There's a whole squad of Sith troopers on the other side of that door. You need to find some way to thin their numbers. You could reprogram the damaged assault droid to help you, if you have enough repair parts. Or you could use computer spikes to slice into the terminal and use the Endar Spire's security systems against the Sith.
Okay, so again, it's going to show us another mechanic here. So if I just go to the footlocker, look, there are some parts and spikes. If I go here, I can see what's going on in there, and I could overload power conduit, or if I go to this guy, I could repair the droid. He's now active, and I could send him into combat. I'm probably just going to overload using the spikes. So if I press this, look, switching to Segura's camera, and it starts a massive electrical surge that kills everyone in there. I don't know if that's from the security systems on the Endar Spire that Karth is talking about. It seems like a bit of an extreme sort of security system. So we've got a few bits there. I'm going to take a very brief look at this prototype vibro blade. So I think this looks... In fact, I could probably put it in the offhand, right? So longsword here, and then the prototype vibroblade there. Yes, that looks good.
You've made it just in time. There's
Hi,
only
God.
one active escape pod left. Come on, we can hide out on the planet below. I'm a soldier with the Republic, like you. We're the last 2 crew members left in the Endar Spire. Bastila's escape pod's already gone, so there's no reason for us to stick around here and get shot by the Sith. Now, come on!
Okay, and so we say goodbye now to the Endar Spire, and we get into an escape pod with KOTOR. And that ship explodes completely, and there is no chance of it appearing ever again. Some sort of mysterious battle going on there between Bastila and somebody else. Rise and shine.
Good to see you up instead of thrashing about in your sleep. You must have been having one hell of a nightmare. I was wondering if you were ever going to wake up. I'm Karth, one of the Republic soldiers from the Endar Spire. I was with you in the escape pod. Do you remember?
Okay, so if it's not been too obvious so far, this is the dialogue. You obviously don't hear your player character speaking, but you can select all of these, one of these options, and that is in the game verbatim what your character is saying. Okay, so I might say, right, I'm such and such, how did we get here?
We've been slipping in and out of consciousness for a couple of days now, so I imagine you're pretty confused about things. Try not to worry, we're safe. At least for the moment. We're in an abandoned apartment on the planet of Terrace. We were banged up pretty bad when our escape pod crashed, but luckily I wasn't seriously hurt. I was able to drag you away from our crash site and all the confusion, and I stumbled into this abandoned apartment. By the time the Sith arrived on the scene, we were long gone. You don't have to thank me. I've never abandoned anyone on a mission, and I'm not about to start now. Besides, I'm gonna need your help. Terrace is under Sith control. Their fleet is orbiting the planet. They've declared martial law, and they've imposed a planet-wide quarantine. But I've been in worse spots. I saw on your service records that you understand a remarkable number of alien languages. It's pretty rare in a raw recruit, but it should come in handy while we're stranded on a foreign world. There is no way the Republic will be able to get anyone through the Sith blockade to help us. If we're gonna find Bastila and get off this planet, we can't rely on anybody but ourselves.
Okay, so why is it important to find
That
Bastila?
smacked your head did more damage than I thought. Bastila's a Jedi. She was with the strike team that killed Darth Revan, Malak's Sith
Oh, so
master.
she's a pretty
Bastila's
big
the
shot
key to
then.
the whole Republic war effort. The Sith must have found out that she was on the Endar Spire and set an ambush for us in this system. I believe Bastila was on one of the escape pods that crashed down here in Terrace. For the sake of the Republic war effort, we have to try and find her.
Okay, so what we've learnt then is that Bastila is important for the Republic's war effort. They're at war with the Sith. Okay, but let's try and see why
Bastila is no
Bastila
ordinary
important.
Jedi. She has a rare gift the Jedi call battle meditation. Bastila's power can
Interesting.
influence entire armies. Through the Force, Bastila can inspire her allies with confidence and make her enemies lose their will to fight. Often that's all it takes to tip the balance in a battle. Of course there are limits to what she can do, but from what I understand of her ability, it requires great concentration and focus to maintain her battle meditation. The attack on the Endar Spire happened so fast, she never had a chance to use her battle meditation. Like us, she barely got out alive. Bastila's gonna need our help. Many of Darth Malak's followers can use the dark side of the Force, and the Sith have already killed more than their share of Jedi in this war. Nobody will be looking for a couple of common soldiers like us, and if we're careful, we can move about the planet without attracting notice. A luxury Bastila won't have. She's gonna have half the Sith fleet looking for her. They know how important she is to the war effort. The whole planet is under quarantine. No ships can land or take off. So, if If Basil's gonna escape Terrace, she's gonna need our help, and we'll probably need hers. While you were out, I did some scouting around. There are reports of a couple escape pods crashing down into the Undercity. It's probably a good place to start. But the Undercity's a dangerous place. We don't want to go there unprepared, and it won't do Basil any good if we go and get ourselves killed. Good idea. We can use this abandoned apartment as a base. We can probably get some equipment and supplies here in the upper city. Just remember to keep a low profile. I've heard some grim stories about the Dark Jedi interrogation techniques. They say the Force can do terrible things to a mind. It can wipe away your memories and destroy your very identity. But I figure if we don't do anything stupid, we should be okay. I mean, after all, they're looking for Bastila, not a couple of grunts like us. All right, soldier, let's move out.
Okay, so that sort of sets this game up, right? We're a soldier of the Republic. We are crash landed on a planet. We're looking for a Jedi. This is our little base operations, a small apartment here, a couple of beds and a couple of chairs, everything you need really, and a workbench over here that allows you to upgrade things. I'm not going to go into that now. And a friend called Karth. Well folks, if that doesn't get you excited about this game, who knows what will. Thanks very much for the ride, and I'll see you in the next one.